connecting your brain and body with interactive games and tests. Why is there no physical activity in today's health physical? Trazer is an holistic technology used to rehabilitate, prevent falls, and improve sport performance. Trazer reports provide you, your clinician, your physical therapist, or athletic trainer objective data to make decisions on your health and performance over time. Measure what matters to change your game. Take the Trazer Challenge. Confidence, growth, connected by Trazer.
At Fusion Sport, we're all about driving human performance. We develop and support a range of technologies all designed to assist people to be their best. Smarterbase is used by hundreds of elite sporting organisations across the globe, and more recently has been used by the military and performing arts as well.
Our Smarterbase technology has at the heart of it an integrated and connected philosophy. What's different about Smarterbase is that it's truly flexible and self-engineerable. That really puts the power into our customers' hands, and it allows them to use it in unique ways that perhaps we haven't even thought of.
Between ourselves and the rest of the field, but here comes Jemmy Stone.
What's going on, everybody? Your man Eric Wilson here for the Sports Arena. Last Monday in March, there's so much to talk about. I mean, of course, you got the NCAA tournaments going on, both the men and the women's. We got the NBA that's heading into the final stretch of their regular season. Of course, we got the NFL draft coming up, and opening day is this Thursday, Major League Baseball. So much to talk about. Not really sure what we want to dive into tonight. I know we got a lot of NFL, maybe some NBA talk, but let me get the crew in here as always. My brother, Mr. Alex Fleming, litany of shows. Good evening, sir. How are you?
I'm here, a little bit tired, but you know what? Without struggle, there's no progress.
Amen to that, brother. Glad to see you doing well. And of course, we got our girl joining us from the 806. The NBA carousel and the sip-off, joining us back again, Miss Megan Price. Megan, good evening.
Good evening. How are y'all?
I'm doing well. I'm thinking we may have to take a page out of your book and, start drinking before we start talking here. So cheers to everybody.
Yay.
So Mike Caratenuto is going to be joining us here. I see the bottle, brother. He's going to be joining us here in a minute. He's just wrapping up, doing what he does. So but I want to start the conversation because there's so much to dive into, but I only want to talk about maybe a few things tonight. But of course, I think the first thing that we need to kind of address is, of course, with the draft coming up, there's so much stock in these picks, and we're not going to get into what Philadelphia did do because I don't even want to talk about it. I'm just going to put that out there as a disclaimer. Alex, we may have to do a separate show on that one where I go off, but we're going to leave that for another time.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't want to, Megan, you are too kind to join us. I'm not going to force you guys to listen to me talk about Philly when I know you are a Dallas fan. So we're going to leave that
Right.
one alone for this.
Yeah, definitely.
And Alex doesn't want to hear me talk about Philly because he continually says to me, I don't know why you're still a fan. It is what it is. So
I'm a fan of Dallas no matter what we do, so I relate.
Exactly. Let's talk about something that has a little bit more of relevancy, and that is, Alex, since you are the man in the middle right now, Bruce Arians and the Super Bowl champion Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I know that usually always puts a smile on your face. So he was actually on the Loose Cannons podcast, and when they asked him about the whole running it back, bringing all 22 guys back, doing what they needed to do, Arians was very clear in his intentions, saying simply that he was going to whip these boys back into shape pretty much and get them prepared to do exactly that, to run it back. So, Alex, give me your thoughts on what you heard from Bruce Arians.
First and foremost, I don't know why Megan's not in the middle because, I mean, everybody loves Oreos, but I'll leave that alone.
A mess.
Now, Bruce Arians. So I'm speaking to the NFC South and everybody else that's listening in. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers have the lowest winning percentage of any NFL franchise. The only professional franchise with the lower winning percentage in Tampa Bay is the Minnesota Timberwolves. If you don't believe me, check out A Football World. It's a football world. We all just live in it. John Turner's page, A Football World Discussion, where I randomly discuss how Tampa Bay is elevating and Chicago is descending. Now, back to Bruce Arians. You know, it's easy to get on top. The hard part is, can you stay there? The only person who has not been re-signed yet from the 2020 squad is Antonio Brown. And he's muffling with himself whether he wants to take a pay cut or go somewhere and act right and get paid. Guys, this is the first time since 1979 that each and every starter has returned. Think about that. That's historic. And if it's not broke, don't fix it. They went 11-5 by losing a squeaker to the Bears, losing twice to the New Orleans Saints, messing up at the end of the game against the Rams, and getting blown out, because it was a blowout before the end of the game happened, against the Kansas City Chiefs. They got a cupcake schedule with the AFC East and the NFC least with the NFC South this year. There's no excuse why they can't either be a 1 or at worst a 2 seed, because those Falcons ain't doing nothing. Nobody's scared of those Pampas. And the Saints, well, they cut half their defense and Drew Brees is gone. Do you trust Jameis? Now, I don't hate Jameis, and I'm not hating on Jameis, but do you trust Jameis? Let's be real with ourselves. Bruce Arians knows that, you know what? It's one thing being the hunter, it's another being the prey. A lot of people want to put an asterisk on this NFL Super Bowl that just happened to be in Raymond James. Well, you know what? Shut up and take your cough syrup, because everybody didn't have a training camp. Everybody didn't have volunteer workouts. Everybody had to deal with injuries, and not everybody was Patrick Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers, Drew Brees, and a Washington football team defense. So for all you haters chirping at the mouth, deal with it. Bruce Arians knows if you want something, you got to take it, because nobody's giving out respect. I'd like to know what excuses you're going to have when it's a back-to-back.
Okay, so now that we've had all that, let me go to Megan and simply say this, because the one thing that you do have to factor in, even though conversely they will play the same amount of games, when you take away one preseason game and you add one more to the end of the season, right. Megan, talk to me about the impact that now makes for this Super Bowl champion team.
I think that just as a whole for the NFL, that you have to worry about the health of the players. It's different. Preseason games, they play a few minutes, they make their impression, and then you pull your starters off the field. So it's just as a whole for the NFL, I think this puts them in danger for injury. But for the Bucs, I'm going to say, and take a page from Alex and say that them re-signing 22 players, that's huge. It hasn't happened since 79. And I honestly feel like the only team that can mess with the Bucs is the Rams.
I agree.
Really?
Yeah.
So we're not showing any kind of love to the 4-year, $160 million man and that squad down there in Dallas that has the offensive. Hold on now, Alex. They have the offensive weapons to be able to contend against Tampa offensively. Listen, defense ain't no question. Levante David going to chew them up. But this is definitely one of those times where a sleeper, a dark horse, and I can't believe I'm giving this much credit to this team because I can't stand them, but because we have Megan on the show, I figure I should be somewhat nice.
Very sweet.
It's just one of those things where you have to be prepared for that unexpected. You know what you're getting in Green Bay. You know what you're getting out of Washington, even though they've added a Ryan Fitzpatrick. Hell, whether you trust Jameis or you don't trust Jameis, you know that the Saints are a playoff team, still constructed under Sean Payton. Megan, you may disagree, but as we get more into our deep dive into teams, I'm going to have to do my little homework and show y'all that I don't just talk a big game. Sometimes I can back it up. I am just simply saying right now, yes, Tampa is the odds-on favorite to be the NFC champions yet again. However, there's always that one team that a lot of people kind of just forget about, or unless you're a fan, you really focus on them. This is definitely going to be one of those years for that team in Texas that is unfortunately not the Texans. But that's why I say to you, if it gets to a shootout, Alex, I actually think Dak versus Brady, interesting matchup.
I think it is an interesting matchup, but I think the difference here is the defense. Not only with the Bucs because they have an awesome defense, but how atrocious ours was. We were the worst, just literally the worst. But I do think we will make some improvements. We have Dan Quinn, who was, and I was really scared when we did that signing because of his time in Atlanta, but he was a great defensive coordinator in Seattle. So if he doesn't have that pressure of being a head coach and he's not Mike McCarthy's best friend, then, maybe the defense will have a hope. But I do think the matchup between Dak and Brady is a good matchup. If Dak comes back and he is that player before the injury, and that's a big if, big if. But if he comes back and he's able to be that, I do believe he can beat an aging Tom Brady.
Look, let's be honest with you.
But defense, I don't know.
The Cowboys' defense is a step above the Atlanta Falcons' defense. They're cardboard, all right? Atlanta Styrofoam.
Yeah.
They're biodegradable, all right? That's Atlanta. Dallas is a step up from that. And as far as offense is concerned, we got the dynamic duo. We franchise tag Chris Godwin. I don't want to keep rattling off numbers to people who refuse to listen. And if we sign AB, look, Dallas doesn't have one corner. What the hell are they going to do when they got a 3 wide receiver set? Can Dallas stop the run? I believe they gave up about 2,600 yards rushing last year. They only played 16 games. Add an extra game on top of that. Tell me how you really feel. Oh, and last but not least, who's going to stop the running game? Leonard Fournette, Ronald Jones, and whether it's Harris or Etienne that they get from the draft, the running game is going to be a problem. They're going to draft another tackle to replace Donovan Smith after his contract extension. Stinney came in and took over for Kappa like there was no problem at all, just waiting for his chance. They have a rotating offensive line. I wonder where they got that idea from. Oh, and Tristan Wirfs gave up 1 sack his rookie year. We're not worried about the Cowboys.
I'm not saying be worried about it. I never said be worried about it.
It's a sleeper team.
I'm saying just don't sleep on them. Listen, in that division, Alex, you have, on paper, every right to go 4-0 in that division. But here is the one thing that I will say to you, my friend. We know what Ron Rivera is capable of with the Washington football team, and Chase Young is hungry to get back at the Bucs for what happened wild card weekend.
They're the only team I'm worried about. They're the only team I'm worried about.
Listen to me now. Listen to me. You just need Ryan Fitzpatrick to be Ryan Fitzmagic. That's what you need. And he does know Tampa. Okay. He's been a journeyman around pretty much 14, 17 teams. So
Right.
he knows them. But now you're working in a new system. And if Tyler Heineke can force the Tampa Bay defense to step up and elevate their game, can you imagine what a veteran like Ryan Fitzpatrick could do to them? That's number one. Number two, and more importantly, we all know that on paper, Dallas has the necessary tools to get it done.
Offensively.
Offensively.
We have a receiver core. We have a great quarterback. Now, he's not top 5, but he's top 10. I got him at like
He's a B.
I got
If
him
you're,
at like
talking
7.
about, if you're talking about CD Lamb, I might agree with you. If you're talking about Amari Cooper, you can forget that.
Your
No,
offense is a
Amari
B.
drops a lot, Cooper.
Your defense is an F.
It is. And it is. And when your defense is top notch, is our offense going to be that good? I understand the questions there. I'm not saying that we can beat you guys. I am excited to see what Dak's going to do. I'm so excited. That's my man, Love him.
Oh, and Alex, Danny Thompson is already chiming in this evening saying, quote, "You need to worry about Atlanta."
Alex is never going to worry about Atlanta.
No.
I might have to go to Magic City and pick up some lemon pepper wings. That's how much worried I am.
Let me welcome in Mr. Michael Caratinudo, Believe in the Pac-12 podcast. So, Mike, your ears must have been burning because I was actually saying good. Hold on. Let me finish. I was actually saying good things about your team.
Right.
I know you were, but here's the thing: like Amari Cooper. I'm sorry, the game in Philly 2 years ago where he was dropping, he was playing on one leg. He tried to play again. He did drop passes he should have caught. I agree with that. I know you're just saying for Amari Cooper. I'm not saying I would have given him as much money as he got. I still would have paid him because he does open up defenses with CeeDee Lamb, and you have Michael Gallup that can do the same. I kind of miss that underneath guy. I mean, CeeDee Lamb was kind of running those routes, and I give him credit for that. But defensively, yes, it's bad, as we know. And not that Xavier Woods was the savior, but he's gone. Awuzie's gone, who I loved, who got better every year. And again, when it comes to signing people, when you give a big contract, you can't sign everybody. So, I mean, letting Byron Jones go last year was a huge mistake. But, yeah, offensively, I mean, look, we know Dak can put up numbers. I want him to not have to put up numbers in garbage time trailing. Unless it's against Atlanta, Alex, because then we know they can come back from anything and kick any kind of onside kick and win, which is great to see.
Atlanta can't win a fist fight against themselves.
That's what I'm talking about. So,
all right.
But no, I mean, I get what you're saying. I mean, if the quarterback play, and look, if I know Daniel Jones and all that was, what's the owner or what's the GM gonna say? No, I don't believe he can win a Super Bowl. So, I mean, those questions and statements I just always laugh at, but. I like what Daniel Jones is doing, but yeah, Dak, I mean, he's got to deliver this year. So if the defense goes up to a C-, which again was still bad, but would be a great jump. If the defense goes to like a C-, Dak better deliver.
All right, fair enough. We're done talking about Dallas. I gave y'all the first segment. I was talking about Tampa, but Alex likes to continually comment on how bad our division is, which, Alex, newsflash. We already know how bad our division is. Stop trying to tell us. We hear you.
Yeah, but where was Alex when our division was dominant? I didn't hear him then. I may have not.
Oh, he was a Chicago boy back then.
I was probably in high school. I mean, damn, you guys haven't been.
That's brutal.
Exaggerate a little more.
That's brutal.
Oh, my man Alex Fleming always bringing it to us. That's why he is the human computer. He is the flamethrower. He is all that and then some. Or as we used to say back in the day when Alex was in high school, he was all that in a bag of Doritos.
Oh.
Let's keep it moving here on the Sports Arena. Thank you all for joining me. So the draft is coming up, and we need to talk about this number 2 pick because as far as I see it, the draft right now, number one's it's one and done. We already know. Urban Meyer, Trevor Lawrence, aka Sunshine, Jacksonville. Let's move past that. So when we get to the number 2 spot, Mike, have you talked to Mama Caratinudo? What the hell are the Jets going to do right now, man? Because the ball truly is in their court. They are going to be the ones to really establish how this draft is going to play out. All the experts are predicting that, there's going to be 3 or 4 quarterbacks taken within the first 6 picks. So and we'll get to San Fran in just a moment, but let's talk about the Jets. Mike, I'm going to start with you. What are they going to do at number 2?
Look, I know I'm in the minority, and I said this to you guys last week, but I do like Zach Wilson. Sam Darnold went into L.A. and beat the Rams defense. I mean, fine, Jared Goff was quarterback, but Sam Darnold moved the ball on Rams defense. So I'm not giving up on a quarterback you took that high. I take Kyle Pitts. I love Robert Saleh. So I think to a lot of people, if the Niners were trying to trade with the Jets has gotten out and the Jets are not coming off that number 2 pick, everybody says they're taking a quarterback. If I'm the Jets, I take the best player in the draft, and I take Kyle Pitts. Because I'm telling you right now, you give Darnold that, you have the picks. Alex and I were talking about this last time. You have the picks. You beef up the offensive line. Your defense hasn't been bad. Yes, you've lost guys. I mean, if Salah was coaching, obviously Williams wouldn't be with the Giants. He'd be with the Jets. So I just think you use those picks to give Sam Darnold a shot. If you pass on Zach Wilson, and I'm sorry, and he doesn't become a Pro Bowler, doesn't become an All-Pro, forget it. Like, to me, it's Kyle Pitts. That's who I take at number 2. Everybody can laugh at the Jets, but nobody was laughing when, again, to take a tight end, I guess, that high, who's still a receiver, who can block. I mean, the guy's, 6'5" and like 245, 250, and can run like that, and his catch radius is ridiculous. I mean, I'm no Florida homer, obviously, SEC homer, but watching a lot of his games, he put his quarterback in contention for the Heisman Trophy. So I'd take Kyle Pitts. I know I'm in the minority. But if you give up on Sam Darnold, I'm just telling you right now, like I said, somebody mentioned today, your guys' neck of the woods, that Tampa would be a great spot. He sits for 2 years, and then he takes over for Brady. I don't see that happening because of all the people Tampa's re-signed. But if I'm the Jets, I go with Kyle Pitts and I go with Sam Darnold. I don't understand. Just because the new coaching staff comes in, you have to take a new quarterback.
Fair enough. Megan, let me get you in here on this. I want to hear your perspective on things.
Well, I think the 1, 2, and 3 picks are all QB picks. And the Jets, I think, take Zach Wilson at number 2. Now, I don't know if that's necessarily the right decision. I do think they should put some weapons around Darnold. I'm not completely sold on Darnold, though, but I'm also not completely sold that Zach Wilson means you're replacing Darnold. That you got him a backup. He's a rookie. So that doesn't necessarily mean that you're moving on from Darnold. You just have him a backup. And being a Dallas person, let me tell you, you need a backup.
Alex, we got to chime in here real quick. If the Jets can't trade Darnold by the time they pick, trade down and get some extra picks. Could get a weapon for him or line help, or to Mike's point, go ahead and get Kyle Pitts. But Alex, let me talk to you, brother, because the Jets, we know what they are. They're rebuilding. They're not coming out of the AFC East. They're not going to be division champs anytime soon. Under the new head coach, I hope, because we have not given our early bird predictions yet, but I hope they get at least a 500 win. Well, actually, now it's going to be either 9-8 or 8-9, so it's not going to be a true 500 unless it's 8-8-1. But whatever. But talk to me, Alex. Talk to me about this because it's the Jets.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Oh, guys, stop. Just stop. Zach Wilson isn't going to the Jets. Our hope with Zach Wilson and his teammates at BYU, the New York Backpage just wanted some attention because they're attention whores. It doesn't matter if they get Zach Wilson if you can't protect your damn quarterback.
Absolutely.
Get the offensive lineman out of Oregon, Sewell. Or better yet, how about you help your quarterback out and get him a real weapon, whether it be Kyle Pitts or Devontae Smith? Not trying to name drop, but speaking to Nick Saban today, who's just cranking out NFL talent. Devontae Smith is 170 pounds. He played at the University of Alabama under 155 pounds. And everybody's whooping at the mouth that he's not big enough to play. Nobody's got bigger heart than that kid. And he's a burner. How about you help Sam Darnold out by either A, fixing the offensive line, or B, giving him a weapon that he can actually throw to? It makes me sick to my stomach that everybody wants a brand new quarterback. brand new flavor in your ear. The man from BYU doesn't deserve the New York media and all the attention that he's going to get because he can't throw the ball because there's no damn offensive lineman. Oregon, Sewell, I'm done.
But my thing about that is, we're talking about the Jets. Are they going to make your points are right. Michael's points are right. They should put some weapons around Darnold, but are they going to? It's the Jets.
I think, okay, so to answer that question, Megan, I think they are because they have a new head coach. If they still had smoking weed and looking like he is stoned 24/7.
It wasn't weed.
I don't care what it was. Alex, I'm going to tell you like this. Like you always say on this show, he needed to be drug tested. Okay? But it's a new head coach. And I think Robert Saleh I really feel like he's that dude to kind of reignite the fire under the Jets' ass. I think he's letting management and ownership know we're not going to be the laughing stock anymore. This team has to get the removal of the butt fumble from out underneath them and need to be moved on about it. So that's why I say to you, they can do it. We know what they should do. I think Robert Saleh is the guy to do it. So
yeah, and Eric, to piggyback off Alex's point too, Alex, real quick, to piggyback off your point too, with Saleh, he was in San Francisco. How did John Lynch build that? How did John Lynch build it? Offense, defensive line. So, I mean, it wouldn't be the sexiest pick. I mean, believe me, I love that kid out of Oregon. I'm with you. But Robert Saleh knows if you build from the inside and you can stop and protect, Sam Darnold can be your guy.
Did anybody ever see Necessary Roughness with Scott Bakula, the Quantum Leap guy? All right, so do you know how much confidence he had when a Samoan had his back and he told him that guy's not going to touch you? When a quarterback knows that he's got time to throw, he takes more chances. He took a lot of chances at USC, but then again, he had a lot of talent at USC. Right. Build the offensive line, get some weapons in the later round because there's a lot of good wide receivers and running backs available. You already resigned the Michael P. Ryan. You got Denzel Mims out of Baylor. Bro, he passed my eye test. Fix the offensive line, and the Jets are going to upset some people this year. Mark my words.
All right.
I'm just saying, seeing is believing. When they start making some moves and do right, then I'll believe in the Jets.
I hear you, Megan. I really do. Really quick, we got to pay some bills. More with the Sports Arena. We'll be back in a moment.
Generations Physical Therapy has been the Tri-State's leader in physical therapy services for over 20 years. And now we have a convenient location right in the heart of the capital city of Charleston, just off I-64. With convenient parking and flexible hours, your access to physical therapy is second to none. Plus, Snap Fitness is also in sight with 2 floors of gym equipment and sports enhancement training through A-Game Sports Performance. So whether you're needing hands-on physical therapy or looking to get results in our gym, our family's ready to help yours. Generations Physical Therapy and Snap Fitness. Multiple services, multiple locations. Experience you can count on.
Welcome back into ladies and gentlemen. Your man Eric Wilson alongside our girl, special guest Ms. Megan Price from the NBA Carousel and the Sip Off. Michael Caratenuto, Believe in the Pac-12 podcast, and of course my brother, Mr. Alex Fleming. Litany of shows, but most importantly, his writing that he does with Central Florida's oldest Black newspaper, the Florida Sun Review, is some of the most thought-provoking and insightful information, analytical, and also conversational pieces. So make sure you definitely check him out. So let's move on. We talked about the Jets, but let's talk about what San Francisco was able to do. San Francisco, between them, Philadelphia, Miami, all moving up and down the first round. So now San Fran has the number 3 pick in the first round of the draft coming up in exactly 1 month from today, April 29th in Cleveland, draft 2021. Yes, Mr. Fleming, I see you are raring to go on this one. So Megan, I typically do ladies first, but if you will allow me to pass
go ahead.
over to my brother Alex, I know he's got a lot to talk about, which I'm sure is going to spark something between him and Mike at some point. But gentlemen, let's please make sure we give the ladies some time. Mr. Fleming, the floor is yours, sir.
60 seconds is all I need. BYU is already running a pro set offense. He's been working out in San Francisco for quite some time. He's used to the weather. He loves the system. He's already been reading the playbook. He's been studying Kyle Shanahan's play calling from Atlanta to San Francisco. He's a California kid. He loves to surf. He loves the sun. He's a perfect fit to replace Jimmy Garoppolo. Jimmy Garoppolo, when he plays, is not that bad. He hands the ball off great. He's about 60% completion percentage. When he doesn't play, the team suffers. They need a fresh kick in the dirt, and that is Zach Wilson. That's why Miami robbed them blind, and they switched from 3 to 12. Now, San Fran gets the quarterback that they want. They gave away the 2022 and the 2023 pick that Miami then gave back to Philadelphia to move right back to number 6 to get Jamar Chase or Kyle Pitts. San Fran got the quarterback of the future. Miami gets more draft stock. They made the Laramie Tunsil trade a 4 first-round pick draft pick. That's beautiful. Zach Wilson, San Francisco, they go together.
All right, really quick before I let Megan get in there, shout out to our boy Blake Anthony chiming in, saying what's up to everybody. And John Mizak, to answer your question, I'll be very simple when I say this. Hell no. I don't trust Howie with no future.
I do.
So, Megan, please go ahead and would you enlighten our audience with your knowledge when it comes to San Francisco, the number 3 pick, and also what Mr. Fleming had to say about BYU?
I think the Niners are going to actually get Mac Jones. So I do think it goes 1, 2, 3 quarterbacks in the draft. Sunshine, number 1. I got Zach Wilson at the Jets, and I think Mac Jones from Alabama goes to the Niners. I do think Jimmy Garoppolo ends up leaving San Francisco. I think he ends up back in New England. I think they need whether they go with Cam as the lead or they go with Jimmy as the lead. I'm not sure yet, but I think that duo together could be decent. Like I said before, you need a backup. Trust me. I spent the last year with Dalton.
Well, you had Ben DiNucci and you had some other guy.
Garrett Gilbert. And now we should have gone with Garrett Gilbert, but, we paid Andy, so I guess we let him play.
So, Mike, if you're Jimmy Garoppolo, now you know that San Francisco basically could bring in the heir apparent. What do you do?
I mean, there's not much. I mean, they have to trade him, and with all New England signed, I don't think that they can trade for Garoppolo money wise. So cap wise, I mean, I know it makes sense. I mean, I definitely see that. But yeah, the BYU connection is what I've been screaming all along. Anyway, Steve Young went to BYU, was dominant. Zach Wilson went to BYU. I mean, outside of Jim McMahon, who did not belong at BYU, but whatever, that's a story for another day. No, but I like that connection. I think it works. But like you were saying for the Jets, Darnold would be a backup, Wilson would be his backup. Like for Garoppolo, it could be his backup because then after next year, after next season, if they release Garoppolo, I know that obviously it's more club friendly, so they have to trade it this year. And even if they trade it, I know they take a teeny bit of the cap hit's not crazy, but it's still a good hit. So if you're Jimmy Garoppolo, you're thinking, I mean, like I said, and I would be saying Mac Jones. I actually think they keep Garoppolo, though, if they take a quarterback. And it's not fully like the Aaron Rodgers, Jordan Love thing, but I think they take Trey Lance. I think Kyle Shanahan would love to have a quarterback like Trey Lance because he's raw. He's going to have to sit for a year anyway, so at least a year. So you figure you keep Garoppolo for a year. They have the offensive line, like we're talking about, to protect. So, I mean, do I think the writing's on the wall for him to be traded? I mean, I agree. But I don't think it. If I'm the Niners, I mean, I don't see who's taking Garoppolo right now anyway.
I don't think he goes right now. I think he goes at the end of this season, this upcoming season. I think Jimmy G stays this season, but he's not going to be healthy. When has he been healthy?
Mike, he was back up for Brady.
Well, my point.
There's no absolute positive way that San Francisco is letting that money go off the books without getting rid of some of it. He's going to play this season, and he's probably going to get hurt and do more porn movies. That's why he's called Porn Star Jimmy. They're going to get his heir appearance. They're going to get his replacements. The Jets have a lot of issues. Quarterback is not one of them. Guys, call me now for your free reading. Zach Wilson, San Francisco.
I like it. I like it. I'm with you.
Our man John Mizak chiming in saying health concerns with regards to Jimmy is just not worth it. It's not worth that contract. And he said 3 first-round picks on the bench. We'll see what happens. So let's switch gears here and let's move over to the NBA because basically, and this is a question that I posed to everybody in the chat, with LaMarcus Aldridge now going to Brooklyn to be with KD, Kyrie, James Irving. The 4 of us are going to be on the bench pretty soon because I think we got contracts coming in the mail. Is it a foregone conclusion that the Brooklyn Nets are going to be in the NBA Finals? Megan, you're the NBA carousel queen here, so let's hear it from you.
I think that the Nets playoff run depends solely and completely on Kevin Durant. LaMarcus Aldridge is aging. Blake Griffin is aging. He's had one good game with them, and it was against the Pistons. So I'm not completely sold on Griffin being back to form. Now, true, you need LaMarcus to be a role player. You don't need him to be a big player like San Antonio needed him to be a big player. He's 35 years old, though. Can he fill that void? Can he stay healthy? He hasn't stayed healthy in a very long time, and he's slow. He's really, really slow. So I don't know if he fits in with that offense. Griffin is playing decent. But we need to see KD. I'm not sold on the Nets until I see KD.
Okay, fine. I actually love this, and I'm going to tell you why. It's Front Runners University. I don't blame Kevin Durant or Kevin Garnett. I blame LeBron James. Kevin Garnett got the hell out of Minnesota, all right, because they weren't giving him any help. Paul Pierce was already there. Ray Allen decided to join the clique. LeBron James left Cleveland, picked up Dwayne Wade, that was in Miami, grabbed Chris Bosh, and got all these other free agents, and then became a bully. Then left Miami when things got rough and San Antonio damn near swept their ass. Built up another team in Cleveland, traded away Wiggins, picked up Kevin Love, got swept a couple of times, got beat a couple times with Golden State. Then goes to LA, gets Anthony Davis, stacks up the roster. Yeah, it's like you're a mercenary. And I don't feel sorry for mercenaries. And in my book, 6 is always going to be more than 4. So when you have Kyrie Irving, James Harden, Blake Griffin, DeAndre Jordan, Durantula, and LA all on the same squad, their only issue against the Los Angeles Lakers is going to be rebounding. But if they're dropping buckets, you don't need to get rebounds. I'm sick and tired of LeBron James stacked teams, and this is the fly in the ointment. I'm actually down with this.
Yeah, I can't disagree with you. And I know you said, and Megan said KD, and I understand that. But to me, we talked about this, Alex, the evolution more of James Harden as a true point guard. I mean, he's triple doubles. I know for Harden and Westbrook, they seem just to, they wake up and they have half a triple double already. But that being said, KD is going to be important. LaMarcus Aldridge, again, he'll stretch the floor. He's not going to go post up, as we know, be all crazy, but he can protect the rim. He can get rebounds. Blake Griffin in the playoffs, we'll have to see, because it's all about the chemistry. And everybody talks about it in the NBA, they talk about that. So it might take a minute to get the chemistry going, but you have James Harden just full generally the way he is. And Eric, I'm with you, like you said, we could be on the bench because if James Harden is ripping through the lane, he can get us the ball. And that's what I love about the Nets.
Michael, you see the first game that Blake Griffin played, he only had one bucket, and it was a dunk. The man hadn't dunked in damn near 2 years, and all of a sudden, his first game that he plays, and it's a dunk. What did I tell you?
And you're right. That's a good point, too. I mean, DeAndre Jordan, because in the playoffs, like you said, you need to be a bully. Well, he'll bang around down low, and he'll be a bully. So I'm not saying he can shut down Anthony Davis if the Lakers get there. Again, I'm not sold about them being fully healthy and chemistry-wise getting there. But that being said, if both teams are healthy and they get there, of course I take the Nets to win, because they're still, as good as LeBron is, he's not the same player as James Harden. And it's not a knock on him. I'm just saying, like, if James Harden has all those weapons,
light up those guards in the Lakers. They're going to light those guards.
I'm talking about the Lakers like they don't have to get through the Sixers, though. LaMarcus Aldridge is not stopping Embiid. It's not happening.
I love
yeah,
it.
He's not Megan.
Who got
Megan, I was going to say that.
They got to get through the Sixers first.
Hold on. Time out. This is why, Megan, you officially just got your invite to the cookout. Look at Megan.
I was just about to say
Hold
that,
on.
Eric.
Embiid
is the MVP in my book. Now, before injury, Embiid is the MVP. And I'm sorry, Blake Griffin, LaMarcus Aldridge are not stopping Embiid. The only one that's going to be there and make that type of difference is KD.
Okay, so let me say this, and I'm going to get my piece out. When I look at this team as constructed, and I want to hit Michael and Alex's point about basically Brooklyn just lighting up those Laker guards. Gentlemen, let me say this. If this was what we saw several years ago when LeBron had to carry the Cleveland Cavaliers to a championship against the Golden State Warriors, even though they were without a few key pieces, but he still did get his ring. Say what you want, the brother got his championship. Mm-hmm. Kyrie, KD, James Harden. On the flip side now, you've got a LeBron, healthy, Anthony Davis, healthy, Rajon Rondo, healthy.
Rondo's with the Clippers.
Huh?
Rondo was with the Clippers. You meant to say Andre Drummond.
Drummond, thank you, sir. That's who I meant. I got my wires crossed for a second, but thank you. So you put Drummond, AD, and LeBron. I like that matchup. Yes, we already know that the three in Brooklyn can, on any given night, all three of them can put up 50 and won't even make a blink, won't even take a sweat. But I have to side with the fact that they don't play defense. Mm-hmm. Whereas the Lakers, we've seen LeBron go coast to coast when needed.
The Nets are 26 in defense. 26.
AD, though, is that big man. And Drummond can provide the necessary assists and points to be a guy who is viable. Alex, I'm going to use your term. You cannot call the Los Angeles Lakers in the NBA Finals when healthy. You can't say they're not relevant.
No. The Lakers are relevant because they're led by a mercenary. Okay. You got to have a stacked squad to beat the people that you need to beat. Okay. Look, understand something. You got Anthony Davis and you picked up Andre Drummond. DeAndre Jordan, Blake Griffin, Kevin Durant got nothing but smoke for LeBron James. So as far as I'm concerned, that's a 50-50. That's a wash. Who got James Harden? In your heart, who the hell's got James Harden? And Kyrie Irving is going to dance all over the board. The bro that I can't remember his name. I don't know. The Shining White Knight. All right, look, the Lakers have no guards. I can say it slower if you need me to. Well. Who the hell is going to stop James Harden and Kyrie Irving? You want to get all the rebounds you want? You want Anthony Davis and LeBron James being bullies down low? That's okay. Because with the healthy Kevin Durant, LaMarcus Aldridge coming off of the bench, DeAndre Jordan with some rebounds in between, James Harden and Kyrie Irving are going to set that net on fire.
Plus, I agree with that. Plus, DeAndre Jordan defensively, he can bang around Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis will be hanging around the 3-point line once DeAndre Jordan bullies him enough. And again, I'm not saying Anthony Davis is soft. I'm saying that's his game, and that's fine. But that being said, too, Schroeder's not manning up with Harden. There's nobody truly that's going to guard Harden. So if you try to put LeBron on Harden, to Alex's point, KD's going to light somebody up. And if you put him on, I mean, I don't think you'd put him on Kyrie. If you put LeBron on Harden, yeah, exactly. If you put LeBron on Harden to try and slow Harden down, he'll still step back on him and drill threes. So I just, again, they have to prove it. And LaMarcus Aldridge isn't going to be a bully, but he doesn't need to. He just needs to stretch the floor because you open up the lane for Harden. Like Alex and I are saying with those guards, you can't stay with them anyway. And you got Kyrie cutting through the lane and stuff like that, and Durant hanging around. I mean, it's ugly. But, yes, I agree with you. They still have to get through Philly. A healthy Embiid stuff. Ben Simmons can defend. He can defend Harden. He can stretch him out. I'm not saying he's better than him, but we know if he's on Harden, it'll be difficult. It'll be more difficult for Harden against the Sixers than it would against the Lakers.
James Harden is that
player. Tobias Harris that plays defense too, and Shake Milton too.
Hold on, Megan, say that one more time.
You got Tobias Harris that plays defense, and you got Shake Milton that plays defense too. Both of those, not elite defenders, but very decent, above average defenders.
Are you getting paid to talk about Philadelphia? Bro, when was the last time Philadelphia was even in the Eastern Conference Finals?
I keep talking about the Lakers. Like, you don't have to go through the Sixers. The Sixers are number one right now.
The Sixers have a mental block.
Been number one.
Sixers are their own worst enemy.
Number one spot without Embiid.
Sixers are their own worst enemy. Look, they
have Doc Rivers now. They have Doc Rivers. They have a real coach. They have a real coach now.
I have nothing but love for Doc Rivers, but Doc Rivers hasn't accomplished anything ever since he left Boston.
Well, now he has a better squad, because I'm sorry, I was not sold on Blake Griffin and Lob City whatsoever. They played better without it. They played better without it.
Embiid is getting tougher. I'm gonna leave Embiid alone. Yes. Simmons can't shoot. You don't have
You don't need him to shoot. You have Seth Curry. You don't need him to shoot. You have Seth Curry.
Is he David Kardashian because he's been missing lately?
I'm just saying. They're a tough squad, and they're the best. They're one of the best in the East. I mean, they're in number one right now. Now, yes, Nets are like half a game behind, half a game. I get that. They're right there. But that's why I say this depends on KD. They've been half a game behind for the last, 4 weeks, 5 weeks? They've been there. But KD hasn't been there. Now, when KD gets there, and we see if he can stay healthy and the type of play level that he's on, then we'll see what the Nets are about.
I'll be nice and say that the Sixers are the best threat in the East to stop the Nets. The Nets will have to beat the Sixers in 5 games.
Wow.
It's at least a 6-game series, but I see a 7.
Okay.
Wow.
Anytime anybody else talks about Philly and I don't have to against Alex, I'm all for it. Let me just say that. Real talk.
I know you are. And hey, Simmons doesn't need to shoot. He just needs to defend Harden. He doesn't need to shoot. He needs to defend Harden. But Megan, to your point though, Philly is tough, and Eric knows it pains me to say that. Philly is tough, and they look good. That being said, that defensive effort they're going to have to give every night. I think that's what Alex and I are getting at, because if the Nets aren't exerting much on defense, except for maybe Jordan and LaMarcus Aldridge, the Nets will outscore you, because those guys, like we said, are like Eric said, they're going to light buckets. So the energy they exert on defense, again, can it go? I mean, I don't think it's 5. I think it would go 6 or 7. I mean, I would lean a little bit towards the Nets, because defensively they have to exert that. The Nets, I mean, Embiid, look, if he's down low, he can bully DeAndre Jordan too. That would be a hell of a matchup, and of course he could bully LaMarcus Aldridge. But it would be a good matchup. But that being said, like, they're going to have to exert more defensively than I think the Nets. Well, I would say would have to, but that the Nets would in general exert.
I'm gonna mic drop on y'all real quick, and then I'm done with it. But the Sixers have maintained their number one spot the entire season without having to go sign everybody else. They didn't participate in the big trades. They didn't have to participate in the big buyouts. They're that good the way they are, and they've been building since the offseason.
All right. They said three things. One, the 76ers are going to get 86 by the Nets. Number two, I can see the Nets scoring 180 points in a playoff game, and that's not fantasy. That's got some flavor to it. Number three, Megan, I'm going to use your own point against you. Kevin Durant has been in and out of this lineup. He's only been there 50% of the time. If he's there 100% of the time in the playoffs, who's going to stop this juggernaut offense?
If KD is there and if KD is healthy. Like I said, I wasn't ready to give my opinion until KD is there.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's where we're going to leave it tonight. We've had too many mic drop moments. We got to get the hell up on out of here. Megan Price, NBA Carousel and the Sip Off. Always a pleasure having you on the show. Door is always open. You know that.
Thank you.
Michael Caratanudo, Believe in the Pac-12 podcast, doing huge things out there in Arizona. And, of course, my brother Alex Fleming. Man, I can't even begin to list all his accomplishments, and every year he continually gets better. For your man, Eric Wilson at the Sports Arena, everyone have a great Monday night. We will see y'all soon. Peace.